Okay guys, so as I was saying in that introduction, we're outside now, and as I was saying in the introduction, we're going to be trying to continue on with this this gold drop from the ram, incinerated ram that I bought. Well, I bought the ram, complete ram, and I've already done the foils. Then I went on to incinerate the chips, and then I went and got the gold into solution. So we've seen that from the tests in the last thing, there is gold in solution. So now my decision was I'm going to just drop everything out of it using aluminium foil, of course. So it will take a while and it will heat up, and that's why I have it in a ketch jar in case we do get too much heat and it cracks this. At least it's not going to go anywhere. So I've left the powder that was in there. I didn't bother filtering it out or anything like that because I'm going to have to re-refine everything in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the foil in, and we just let that react with it, so you can see the bubbles there, you can see the reaction straight away, and that will drop everything out of solution. So I'm just going to let that work away. So what we'll do is we'll just fold that over here, and we'll close the lid slightly to keep it in, and we're just going to let that work away. So again, there will be a lot of bad fumes off it, so I'm going to let that work away. Don't be near it, and don't be breathing the stuff in. I'll let that carry on. Sometimes you can feel it heating up, but it's not actually heating up yet. So we'll let that carry on, and we'll come back once it's dropped everything out of solution. Okay guys, so there was no more reaction from aluminium, so this was the aluminium that was left over that didn't react with it. So that solution there should have dropped everything out of it. So what I'm going to do is let that settle down for a while, and maybe leave it let it settle overnight, and do a filter. So but I have these two other solutions here, which I'm going to do the exact same thing with now that I've done with this one. I'm going to put the foil in, and then we're going to get a reaction, and it's going to work away. So you don't need to see me doing that because we've already seen it reacting as soon as I put it into the other one. So I'm going to do that, and we'll come back once I have all three liquids filtered, and I'll show you what we're left with after the liquids have been filtered. So I just wanted to show you because I've already done that one, and I've also done, there's another one over here in that container behind here cooking away with aluminium. So I've got these two to do, and then we'll be ready to filter. So once I've that done and once I've filtered, we'll come back and we'll have a look at the water, the liquid. We'll do a test on it to make sure there's no precious metal left in it, and we'll go on to the next stage, which will be washing I'll wash the solution first in distilled water a couple of times, boil it in distilled water to boil off as any of the residue acids that may still be there, and then we'll do a couple of boils in nitric, one good boil in nitric to get rid of any more base metals we can, and then we'll go tackle regia again. So, and hopefully this time we'll get a drop. So let's get on to the next stage. Right, so the next stage is I have got from dropping all the stuff, as you can see in here, you can see at the very bottom there's some powder that should hopefully now contain my after filtering should contain the precious metals. Now the filters I'm still holding on to, so as you can see here I have the filters because there will still be some dust and stuff maybe which has precious metals in it, so I'm going to hold on to them and dry them out and clean them and refine them at a different stage, because there's a good few of them where I've been filtering. So you can see, I'll just show you another one there, so you can see there is some powder in there. So again, I will refine them separately. So the bulk of it is in here. It's been washed a good few times now. I'd say 6 times in total I've washed it out, and now I've had it on heat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add some more distilled water to it. Okay, so the distilled water is added, and then we're going to add some nitric acid. So this is just to wash it, to try and get rid of any more of the copper and other materials that would have been dropped out by dropping out the so we'll start off with that amount just to get going. So the nitric should attack any of the base metals, such as the iron that's been dropped out, any copper that's been dropped out, that sort of stuff that's been dropped out, any of them impurities. So once this gets up to heat, the nitric should attack that and start to dissolve that into solution, hopefully, and then that leaves us with a more pure material to work with for the aqua regia stage again. So hopefully this time we won't have the same issues. Again, I think some of my issues were self-inflicted, as some of the comments would have said on the last video, but so be it. And again, before people start saying, why did you use aluminium, why didn't you just use copper to drop out the precious metals? Because I didn't know what I'd done wrong or where it had all gone wrong, because I thought I'd done step by step correctly. Then I said the best thing to do was drop everything out and start from the beginning, because I could have used the copper, maybe just try to drop out the precious metals, but because I put in so much SMB and stuff like that, I didn't want to have to deal with that. I could again just poured it all into my stock pot and just left it there and dealt with it at a different date, but I wanted to try and deal with it now. So the quickest way of dropping everything out was of course being the aluminium, and that's the reason I've done it. So I'm going to let this work away on heat, and we'll come back once it's worked away for a while. Once we start to see some reaction, hopefully, of dissolving some of the base metals, we'll come back once we have some reaction to it. So check you back in a while. Okay guys, so I have left it running for about 15 minutes, and you can see the gases are starting to build up. So the nitric is beginning to work on it. You can see the colour of the thing has gone, like, instead of it was like a blacky colour when I put it in first, black brown, now it's gone like a grey colour. So I don't know what the reason for it going grey, but someone out there might be able to tell me. Is there a reason that you get a grey colour? Now you can see at the very bottom it is still dark black, so I'll keep stirring this every so often and stirring it up and agitating it just to make sure the nitric is working on all of it. And what I'll do then is I'll probably, after this has stopped reacting, I'll filter it all out again, and I'll give it another one just to make sure that the nitric has dissolved all the base metals that I can out of it before we move on to the aqua regia stage of it. So I'll just carry on with that, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have see what is left after the nitric acid has done its work before we move on to the aqua regia stage. So when you come back, I will probably have done 2 washes of this through nitric acid. So this will be the first wash of nitric acid to do it, and I'll probably do a second wash, but no need to show you that. I just want to show you that the nitric is reacting. You can see the orange building up inside there, so it's slow reaction. So it may take a little bit more nitric, so I might need a second wash to do it fully. So we'll let this one do its bit work first, and we'll do a second wash afterwards, and then when you come back, hopefully it'll have gone through 2 washes and we'll be ready to go. So let's see how we got on. Right, so I have washed the powder twice in nitric wash just to do it, and also then I've done 5 or 6 distilled water washes to end up with this at the moment. So in here I'm hoping that we will have our gold. So there's some other white stuff in there, could be silver from it that needs to be refined again at some stage, but we're going to move on to the aqua regia stage next. So what am I going to do? Well, might as well weigh it and see what we have in powder. So let's have a look and see what what our starting material is. Okay, so we have 9 grams of starting material. So that's what we're going to be working off, 9 grams, and hopefully we'll get a couple of grams of thing, because again, that can contain even though I've washed it a couple of times with nitric and was getting no reaction at the end, doesn't mean there's still not some base metals somewhere in there. So the aqua regia will probably dissolve some of them that's still left, as well as the gold, and it will leave any of the other. So there's probably some platinum metals maybe could be in there as well. And as I said, some silver and stuff like that. So as we know, aqua regia won't dissolve the silver, but should dissolve the platinum metals and the gold. So, and then any of the other stuff that's left over should be just the waste material containing silver maybe, and we can go from there. So let's go outside and, oh no, it's 8 grams. Now it's 9. Now it's 9. No, it's 9. Okay, so we're going to go with 9 grams. These scales, these cheap scales, are an absolute torture. But anyhow, 9 grams. We're not going to worry too much about a gram or so. We'll know at the end. So let's go and get this into aqua regia and get it on the heat, and let's hopefully contain some gold. Don't forget, I still have the filters to do, but this is the bulk of it, and the filters probably shouldn't really contain much precious metals, but you never know. So let's go and get this onto the aqua regia. Right guys, so here we are outside and we've got our powder in here, and I'm going to just add enough of the hydrochloric acid to just cover the liquid. So hopefully this time we're not going to try and overdo it. We're going to be very conservative. So okay, so we're in there now. Now you will see a little 1 gold flake there. It was actually 2, so I've just put them in. 2 little gold flakings into it, just for the purpose of making sure that there's no nitric in here already still left, because if there is, they'll dissolve into the solution. So we're going to start off with the HCl, and I'm going to put that on heat for a few minutes, and then I'm going to just turn you this way, and then I'm going to just let that sit there for a while on the HCl. As you can see, it's just below 120 milliliters. I have it on low heat, and I'm going to add 1 milliliter of nitric acid in a few moments. I just wanted to see was there any reaction, just to make sure I'd washed out all the nitric. So we're just going to put that on there for a minute. I want to see if we get any colour building up or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure that everything was cleaned out properly on it before I started adding nitric acid to it. And I'm only going to add a small bit of nitric acid to start off with, probably just a milliliter, and I'll let that work away on it then. So at the moment there seems to be no reaction there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add the 1 milliliter to thing. I wanted to make sure we had no nitric left in there, because the nitric and the hydrochloric should have reacted. If there was any nitric in there, I should have seen a reaction, maybe got a little bit of the that browny orange smoke that you will see, which is the nitrogen oxide coming off it, but there's none of that there. So what I'll do now is I'll just add 1 milliliter of nitric acid, and we'll leave it on the heat for a while, and we'll come back then after a while. I'm not going to put too much in. I'm going to keep it low on it. I might put a small little bit more hydrochloric acid in, maybe just to bring it up above the 120 milliliters. You probably can't see that, can you? So push it out there so you can see it's just below the 120. So I'll bring it up above 120. Because we don't want to put too much. I don't want to be dealing with an awful lot of liquid, because I think that's where I do go wrong. Sometimes I do be putting too much. Now that's about 120 milliliters in there now of hydrochloric acid, HCl, and I just see how we're getting any bit of heat. So it's starting to warm a small bit. I'll leave it there for another while, and we'll come back in a few moments when I'm ready to add a bit of nitric to it. So we'll come back in a few moments. Okay guys, so I've let it warm up. So the liquid now is warmed. We don't have any of that brown smoke coming off it yet. So we have 1 milliliter of what's called here nitric acid. So we're just going to add that. Just 1 milliliter. I'm going to stir it. And I'm going to let that work away. We'll come back in a while and see have we got any build up of the gases inside, the colour of them. We're getting that orangey colour. Are we any reaction? Is there anything happening at all? I don't know. We'll know in a while. So I'm going to let that work away and we'll come back in a while and we'll see how we got on. And I have a habit of over yolking the pudding, as I say, putting in too much nitric acid and stuff like that. That's what I mean by over yolking. So what I'm going to try and do is make sure I keep it very, very little at a time. So I just done 1 milliliter there. I'm going to let that run for whatever length of time. We'll see if we can do a little test and see if there's any gold in the solution. If we want, mightn't do it straight away, and see how we get on. So come back in a while guys and we'll see how things have progressed. Okay guys, so I've left it about 20 minutes and you can see the colour has gone that goldy orange or goldy yellowy colour that you usually get from aqua regia. So we'll have a look and stir it up and see what we get. Do we get... So again, once I stir it up and cover it, so you can see it's foaming a bit, so I don't know why it could be foaming, maybe I don't know, well, hopefully there was no neutralising solution still left in there or anything like that. It's causing a foam, but yeah, I think it's doing its work. So what I'm going to really do is let that run for an hour or two, and we might come back to it tomorrow or something. I'll let it settle overnight then and we'll see what the material looks like. We might take a little test and see have we any gold in it, which we'll see if it gets a really good positive for it or do we get a very low thing on it. Now there was some brown nitrous oxide fumes on it, but they seem to have died down a bit. Now it is beginning to, as you can see, it's starting to begin to about to rain here, so I'll have to put this away because I'm doing it outside, so I'll have to turn it off and just pack it away for the evening before the rain comes, and we'll come back to it maybe tomorrow and see what have we got in there. So as I said, I might just put it in under cover and leave it on for about another hour and let it heat away there and see how we get on with it. So it is nice and warm, so it is reacting anyhow. That's the main thing. I am getting a reaction. So yeah, I'll let that run away and we'll come back tomorrow and have a look and see what it's looking like. Right, so I have left that for 24 hours and this is what I have at the moment. I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. It's not new for me, but I know that I'm going to show you because I've done a test and you can see there I've got positive for precious metal in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain it off and filter it into this container, and the reason I'm doing that is I don't want to overload it with nitric acid like what I've done loads of times before and then have problems trying to drop it, stuff like that. So what I'm thinking is if I drain off what I've done so far, I can redo whatever sediment is left with some more HCl and another milliliter of nitric acid or two and drain that off, and that way it's using up all the nitric acid, if you get what I'm trying to do. I hope you do understand what I'm trying to do. And so you can see all I'm doing now is I'm just going to drain this off and we're going to have a look and see what powder's left. So I'm trying not to get any of the powder in, but if it does go in, it doesn't matter, because I can just wash it back out into the container afterwards. So there is some of the powder now going in, but hopefully the filter will hold it. And we can wash it back in here. So you can see in the bottom of the container we still have some sediment. Oh, I don't want to waste any of it. We still have some sediment, so I can add more hydrochloric acid to this in a second, and add another milliliter of nitric acid, and hopefully we'll get all the precious metals out. So that's what I'm going to do now. Next, I'm going to add some more hydrochloric acid in there. Sorry, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to add some more hydrochloric acid in here after I filter this and washed whatever material is left in there back into here. Add a little bit more hydrochloric acid, put it on heat, add another milliliter of nitric acid, and redo it again and drain that out if it tests positive for gold. And I'll keep doing that until I've got a solution here which should be a lot less nitric in it, or the nitric should be used up, so I shouldn't have to take as much to neutralize it, and we should be ready to drop. So I'm going to give this another wash with hydrochloric acid and some nitric to get the aqua regia, and we'll test it again. I'll test it again later and see if there's more precious metals showing up as there was when I tested the first lot. So again, you can see the black from where I tested it, and at the end we'll do another test and see. I didn't bother showing the test because I just was checking something out and I wasn't really filming at the time. And so yeah, I'm going to wash this down into here, and then I'm going to just try and get this done. So come back when I have the last bit done, and hopefully we'll get rid of some more of that sediment. There's still a good bit of sediment left in there, so hopefully there's still some more precious metals in there. So come back when I'm finished. Right guys, so I've finally got to the stage where we get to see maybe hopefully a drop at this. So I've put this in the aqua regia, and this is what I've ended up with. I've ended up with this, and I've ended up with this. So as you can see, one is a dark orange color and one is a lighter yellowy color. So this is the darker browny orange color, so I'm hoping this is the one that has the most amount of the gold material. Now, as always, we're going to have to test it. So I know this bores the life out of everyone, but if you don't test it, you're not going to know if there's any precious metals in there or not. So before we start to, and now I have this on a bit of heat because I want to warm it up before I start using sulfamic acid to check it. So again, you just put a few drops in there. It should be enough. Put this aside because I don't want to use the same one that I'll be using in a minute on the other solution. So again, we have our stannous chloride, so we'll just double check to see that it does contain precious metals. There we go, instant black. Got a tinge of green, so there could still be a little bit of copper in there, so in the solution. But yeah, so we got black. So that, again, that could be gold, it could be platinum metals in there. It could be either or. It's got like a little tinge to it, so could possibly be them. Now let's test the second solution. So this is over here. So this is the more yellowy color. Let me just get a little bit more. It's a weaker solution, so we'll test that and see what we get there on that one. So again, yeah, we're getting a discolor, but a lot slower. So again, as I suspected, most of it is going to be in here. So that should be warm enough to work with, so you can see the difference. There is some precious metals, but not as much. Most of it is in the first container. So time to try and hopefully get a drop. So what have I got? Well, I've got my sulfamic acid again, 99.9% pure. So hopefully now that the solution is warm, it will react. Now I'm not expecting a big reaction because I think I've got most of the nitric out of this first one, so I'm not expecting a huge reaction, but we'll see. I think this is fairly neutral, so no reaction whatsoever, so I'm not going to waste any more on that because it should have reacted. If it was going to react, it would usually bubble up and you'd get a foaming, so there's no reaction at all on that. So now that we have no reaction on that, I'm going to try and drop the gold, hopefully. Again, I'm going to try with SMB. Hopefully it'll work this time. So I've got my SMB here. Oh, before I go any further, we started off with 8 grams, and this is what I'm left with after doing the whole thing. So I weighed that up, and that's coming in at 0.85 of a gram. So what we started between 8 and 9, I think, something like that. So there's possibly between 6 and 7 grams of material absorbed. I'm not saying that's gold, I'm saying that's what's absorbed in it. So I have my warm SMB, and I'm just going to pour some of this in. It's got about 10 grams of SMB diluted into that, so let's see, do we get any reaction? There we go, instant reaction. That's exactly what I was looking for. So hopefully we will get our gold drop now. So just stir that up. Instant black. Usually go a browny colour, but instant black. So I'm going to swap this one off the heat, and I'm going to put the bigger container on the heat for a while, and we'll come back when we're ready and we'll just let this work away. At least looks like we're getting a gold drop. We might have to wait till tomorrow morning to see what drops out eventually, and hopefully it doesn't re-dissolve in or anything like that. This other one, we'll come on to that in a second. So that was a nice drop, so that's exactly what I was looking for. So hopefully we'll get some gold this time. So I'll pull this one aside and leave it over here to just do its work, and we'll take this one and just put it onto heat, and we'll come back in a few minutes once I get that warmed up. Right guys, so we're ready for the next one. So I can turn that off the heat, so I'll turn the heat down, and we have, it's a bit cloudier solution. So again, we're going to go with our little bit of sulfamic acid again. I may not get a great reaction on it because I'm hoping that that I've used up all the nitric. By leaving that little bit of powder left, that quarter gram or whatever of powder, I'm hoping that 3/4 of that powder, I'm hoping that meant that I didn't use up all the I used up all the nitric, but we'll know in a minute. So again, I'm not getting any. Am I getting any reaction? To get a right look, doesn't look like we're getting any reaction. No, so I'm presuming again we have used up all the thing. Now I don't expect to be a big drop on this side because while that's stirring there, I'll just show you what we have so far. While this is dropping, you can see this begin to clear out, and you can see the powder down on the bottom. So quite a nice little drop, considering I still have the filters to do from it. So the filters will have more gold in them, I hope, but the bulk of it should have been in there. So anyhow, let's talk more SMB. So hold on a second, try to put down the spoon and get myself set up, and we'll get ready to hopefully get a drop out of it again. Not expecting a lot this time. and we have gold. Brilliant. So more gold in here in this one. So we'll let that settle, and we'll come back to it and see what we get out of it. So yeah, so that's going to be let to settle overnight again. We have another good reaction for gold actually, so it might be a nice little bit in there as well. So maybe hopefully we get 6 grams, maybe 5-6 grams out of it, maybe a bit more, might be 7. We know it's not going to be more than 9 because that's what our starting material was, I think 9 grams. So we know it can't be more than that from this material. So hopefully 5-6 grams out of it, and then we still have the filters to do at a later date. So the curse that e-waste Mike has put on me has definitely stopped, because we have some gold here. So I'm going to have to send out e-waste Mike his stickers now, and his other bits and pieces. I promised I'd send him out. I told him if I got gold, I'd send out the stuff. So I'm going to have to send out the stickers to him. So right, I'm going to let this drop overnight. I'm going to drain off the solution, wash the powders in distilled water a few times, dry it out, and we'll get a weigh-in of it. So when you come back, we'll be ready to weigh in. Always remember, guys, after the gold is dropped, check your solution to see if there's any more gold that still hasn't dropped out of solution. And if there is, you can either just throw it back into your stock pot, you can drop out the material again using aluminium, maybe some more SMB, heat it up and drop in a bit more SMB, and you might get any more remaining gold. But for this, I think I have all the gold dropped out. So I'm going to let this work away, and we'll come back once I've got the powders ready to weigh it in. So let's see what we've got. Right, guys, so this is like a what did it weigh, what did it pay that we usually do on our copper and stuff, but this time it's on our gold powder. So we'll just get straight into it. Now, remember whatever total I get here, well, I'll actually add in the bits I got from the RAM foils as well as the chips, and I still have filters to do from filtering it as well, so it needs to be done at some stage, but I'm the most it's going to be in that, maybe half a gram at the most, if I'm lucky. It's going to be that amount. But so we'll go with this. So let's zero it. Okay, so this is our drop that we just did. Oh, better than I thought, because I was expecting maybe 4. I said between 4 and 5, maybe I was hoping for, by my calculations on what you usually get by looking at what other people get out of them. So that's 5 grams. And then we have, might as well throw in from what we got from our, now I thought there was more, but maybe I have another one somewhere else, but so that brings us up to 9 point something. So this is all from the, now again, this will have to be re-refined at some stage, and I will lose a certain proportion of that, because again, that wasn't the cleanest drops in the world, as you can tell by the difference in colours on some of the materials in there. Some of it's a nice browny colour, some of it is a darker grey colour. So what do I have? 9.25. What did I pay for the RAM originally off eBay? I have it here because I went back on my emails to check, and that's what I paid, 460 euro. So 460 euro I paid, as I was including the postage. Let me go into gold prices today. Gold price today, and we'll have a look and see how much a gram of gold is at the moment. A gram of gold is in euro 69.69, which is fairly straightforward. So calculator, 69.69 multiplied by 9.25 equals 644 euro at today's prices, and I paid 460. So just under 200 euro so far made from it. Now, that's not including time and assets that I used. Now, again, my asset, I got it at a very good price back in the day. Again, a lot of people don't believe what I do pay for it, so I might find it here in my email. And again, the next time I go to buy it, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Let me just see if I can find what I did pay for nitric acid. Because a lot of people, I know the cost of nitric acid is quite expensive, but I did manage to get some at a very good price one time. If I can find where I paid for it. Sorry, I can't find it at the moment, but I think it was about €200 for 74 litres. I might have it here. Actually, I might have found it. Sales order number. Let's see if this is the invoice for it. And then, because some people won't believe that I only paid that for it or whatever. Nitric acid, serial number, batch number. I bought 70 actually, not 70 thing. So let me see if I can find the actual cost on it. That's not on that one. I'd go down again. A couple of emails. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to find where I paid for it, because I can find the delivery note, but I can't find the actual amount that I paid. Nitric acid, 69% tech, 2 of them, and they weighed 35 kgs each, which more or less same in litres. And delivery address, no, and signature, no. So sorry, I can't find how much I paid for it, but sorry about that, guys. I can't find how much I paid for it. I'm sure I had it in here somewhere, but any amendments will try a month, blah blah blah. Sorry, I'm still looking. No, I can't seem to find how much I paid for it. Oh, I think I have. I found it here. Yes. So I paid total value. I have to cover my name. I paid total value of £175. That was pound I paid for, because I got it from the UK. But because of Brexit, I can't get it. So again, 175 for 75 litres. Just cost me over £2 a litre. So the assets aren't a big expense for me at the moment, because I still have some of them left. But once they go and I have to buy the next lot, then it will be a big expense. So where I lost track there for a minute. But what I was trying to say was, people do say, oh, you can't make money at this and it's whatever. I don't make this to make real money at the moment. It's a hobby, and this gold will be eventually refined again and eventually will be melted into gold at some stage, but in the future. Because again, when I got this RAM, I would have lost money with the price of gold. But because I didn't need to do it straight away and I could leave it, and now I've done it, gold prices are a lot higher, and I've made money on it. So can you make money at the bottom of the line from buying from eBay? No, you won't make money buying RAM off eBay at the prices it is up there. But if you're trying to learn and you want to experiment, some people have no choice because they don't have access like eWaste Mike or Shark Scrapper to a lot of RAM and stuff coming through to practice on things. So sometimes you have to buy it off eBay. So you're not going to make money on it. If you hold it long enough, you may make money on it. So if you have that gold in 20 years time, the price of gold may be a lot higher. So what you paid for it will make you earn more money out of it. So like that, I'm not going to be cashing this in yet. It's going to be re-refined, and after I re-refine it, it'll be added to the rest of the stuff that I have. And at some stage I will pour a little gold bars out of it when I have enough. I think I have a couple of ounces now, I'm not sure. But again, when I re-refine it, I might end up with an ounce. You don't know. So anyway, guys, long story short, no, you won't make money buying RAM from eBay. Do I care that I wouldn't have made money buying it? No, because I'm doing it as a hobby. If I was doing it as a business, I wouldn't have bought the RAM off eBay. Simple as. but because it's a hobby and I like to do this, most of my stuff I get for free. As I say, I don't usually buy it, but it was an experiment just to see at prices what eBay were charging for RAM. People on eBay, could you make money on it? So, not really. I did make money on this, but my time, if I was doing it by the hour, the amount of hours I put into it, if I was doing a job in some other place, calculating the same hours, then I would have been better off doing that than doing the gold recovery. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry that it took so long to get around to finally doing this video. And again, I will let you know at some stage what I got out of the filters, because I don't expect an awful lot out of them. I'm not going to be bothering doing a video on it. I'll just do them filters at some stage as I'm going along, and I'll let you know at some stage what I got out of it. I'll re-refine this, and what I might do is I might do a video on re-refining this, but I'll only do it from the aqua regia part onwards, where I've actually the gold in the aqua regia, and I might drop it using copperas instead of SMB, because I'm told copperas will drop gold a lot better and you get a lot less impurities out of it. So we might do that. So keep an eye for that video on the way, and don't forget we still have some of them RAM to do here, but I want to do to see will HCl and bleach dissolve the gold bond wires, and do we get gold from it? So again, I've only got a couple of grams, 50 grams, so I'm not expecting an awful lot of gold out of that. And I still had some more of them chips not fully finished from eBay, maybe a pound of them, not even a pound of the dust maybe, which is, I don't think it's even a pound of dust. So we have that there in the container. It weighs, including the container, we'll take the lid off, because this hasn't been incinerated enough. It's very black, so we're not going to get the proper gold without incinerating it more. What was it? 260 grams including the container, so not a pound in there. But I still have some of them, so I didn't do everything completely on the RAM, but enough to get this video finished. So thanks for sticking with me, as always, appreciate it. And if you wouldn't mind, please do hit the like, it does help. And if you're not a subscriber, why not subscribe and join me on my journey? So hopefully some new updates coming on the shed build. We have a lot of tear downs to do, been doing a lot of collecting stuff, and hopefully we'll get there in the end. So thanks for watching, as always. Stay safe, and catch you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.